Okay, well, everybody give yourself a hand, because we're right where we're supposed to be. And I would say you're not stuck because of the movement that you just said that you've done, okay? So it's interesting that the words that come up are movement, stuck, sustain. Okay, so we want to keep moving. That can mean we want to sustain. We're feeling stuck. We want to get unstuck and get moving. Okay, stuck to get moving. Sustain to keep moving, right? What would be the next one?
Exceed.
Exceed. Or maybe breakthrough, right? Which means to, I like the word massive. Massive movement, right? Who's after massive movement in their life? I am, okay? And just because we want to be somewhere else doesn't necessarily mean we have to judge where we are as being less or bad, okay? We have this tendency to immediately label who we are or where we are as an undesirable thing. And an undesirable thing has energy. It's got a vibration. And that energy and vibration has a tendency to keep us right where we are, because we're in judgment mode, okay? So it's okay to be anywhere you are along this spectrum. In fact, if you're feeling stuck, what's really going on? Learning, a pause, healing, figuring it out, thinking, okay? There's a reason why we are... Hello, come on in.
Hey, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Good.
And so there's a reason for us to be where we are. And even when we are thinking we are not growing, we are not learning, or things aren't going the way we want, things are moving. So just consider that as an opportunity to go, wow, things are not moving real quickly. Isn't that interesting? What am I learning in the pause? In the pause. Okay? What am I learning in the pause, in the space of not moving? That space where we are when things are not moving can be hugely significant. Because in that space, we can be creating conditions for potential movement. There's activity going on. A tree in the middle of winter looks like it's stuck. Looks like there are things that are not going on. There's not a whole lot of evidence of anything going on. It's certainly, the tree has slowed down. The tree is taking on water more slowly, right? It's at a pause. There's no leaves or blossoms blooming. And we could think, well, the tree looks like it's dead. Looks like the tree is stuck. Nothing is really happening. That's the illusion, okay? That's the illusion. And that illusion, if we apply it to ourselves, has energy and it has a vibration. And we will emote according to our vibration. In reality, there's all sorts of stuff going on inside that tree, down under the ground, in the roots. Growth is still happening. Nourishment is still taking place. The tree is still growing, just a little more slow. But nature does that for a reason. Because a tree cannot sustain blooming every single day of the year. That requires too much energy, too much sustainment. Okay? It's the same with us. A race car is not built to sustain 200 miles an hour indefinitely. Okay? An airplane is not built to sustain 600 miles per hour indefinitely. Everything has to slow down. Everything has to come to a rest for a very deep divine purpose. In the Army, whenever we stopped, a lot of things would happen. We would rearm, we would get some more bullets, we would refuel, we would repair because things break down. Okay? So we would
Rejuvenate?
refit. Absolutely. I like that.
You reinforce too.
Let's keep those words going. Rejuvenate. I love that one.
Yeah, you gotta get some
Rest.
food.
Reinforcement.
You have to rest your troops.
Rest.
Yes.
Okay?
You got all the honors.
Refurbish.
Rest.
You got all the honors.
What's another R word?
Reset.
Reset.
There you go, I like that one.
Okay? I'm sure we could come up with more, but there's 9 words right there. 9 R words that only happen when things are at a place of stillness. Okay? But here we go, we self-sabotage it because we think, greetings David, we think that there's something wrong if we've stopped. We think that things are not moving. We feel like we are off purpose. Okay? Because we're up against this illusion that I've got, if I'm not going 100 miles an hour, if I'm not making $1 million, if I'm not, if my relationship isn't always loving and fun and going well, something must be wrong. That's contrary to the rules of nature. Everything is always changing. So, stop hating on yourself if you feel like you're stuck.
Oh yeah.
Stop feeding the loop from hell in our minds that say, you're stuck, shame on you, you should be moving, you're supposed to be moving, you're not supposed to be where you are, you're supposed to be over here instead, you should have had this figured out already and you don't, okay? You should already be here in your bank account, or be here in this house, or be here in this car, or be here in this relationship, or in a different relationship, and you're not. All of that creates resistance to the growth that can take place right where we are. Right where we are. Honor where you are. Honor wherever you are. The instant you create resistance to where you are, that's when you really get stuck. Okay? Because it's now going to require more energy, more emotion, more attention to get you moving, because you're judging why you're stopped in the first place. So this is where honor wherever you are comes in. Accept and allow yourself to be where you are. Give yourself permission to be healing from a relationship, to be in between a job, to be in between clients, to be trying to figure something out about your business, to things being off kilter in a family relationship, or a relationship with friends, or a significant other person in your life. okay? And honor that space and start to go, this space is perfect. I intend to pay attention in the space. I intend to practice peace in the process. Okay, that's why we have Terrence the Turtle here. Terrence the Turtle demonstrates that peace in the process characteristic or value that reminds us that all is well. All is well. All is well. That is the magic to getting you moving. That is the magic to keep moving. That is the magic to experience a breakthrough and to experience massive movement, is when you can say, all is well. And all is well, not necessarily because everything feels good or that there's an absence of a storm, but all is well because you are clear on who you are and who you want to be in the pause. Okay? So here's another way for me to say that. Who you are is always greater than what you are going through. Who you choose to be in the moment is greater than what's happening. Peace is not, and we've heard this before and through various songs or scriptures or whatever, peace is not the absence of the storm. Okay? Peace is the presence of trust and security within us, no matter what's going on around us. I love the example in the Bible when Jesus is on the ship and he and his apostles, disciples are out in the Sea of Galilee and the storm comes up. Okay? All of his disciples are freaking out in the storm. What's Jesus doing? He's sound asleep. And they're freaking out. The boat's rocking, the waves are kicking up, the wind might be raining, I don't know. It just says there was a storm, okay? And he's asleep. And they go to wake him up. Jesus, Jesus, wake up. Aren't you afraid that we're all going to die out here? And he just kind of looks at him. And he says, "Oh, you of little faith," okay, basically. And he spoke to the wind and the storm and said, "Peace, be still." And the storm stopped. But who was he really telling to be at peace and be still?
Disciples, of course.
His disciples on the boat. They're all freaking out. And he's like, you're looking for the conditions on the outside to always be peaceful, for you to create your own peace. Disciples, that's not how it works. You bring your peace into the situation. Then no matter what is going on, you are honoring where you are. You can recognize that you are in the pause or in the peace. And therein is your power to proclaim, "Peace, be still." I love those three words, peace, be still. And if you don't take anything else away from tonight's session, I want you to take those three words away. And I'll write them down. Peace, period. Be still, period. Peace be still. Peace be still. There's a couple of different ways you can say it by putting emphasis on the different words, and just by doing that play of words, you get a little magical different energy from it. Peace be still. Peace be still. Peace be still. Okay? Isn't that funny how you just play on the different words and you get a different vibration, a different change, a little different nuance and meaning that either way serves you in the present moment to say, I've got this. Even if I don't feel like I've got it, I know somebody else, my higher power, or she, or whatever your higher power, your higher source is that works for you, has got this, and therefore you can go into pause mode. And you can say, breathe. There's a lot of meditative practices that focus on breath. Breath in, breath out. Meditation. Breath in, breath out. Focusing only on your breath. Why the breath? Because the breath represents the flow of our energy. It's how we take in energy, and it's how we release and let go of energy. Because don't we find whenever we're stressed out, what's our breath like?
Short.
We're either hyperventilating and we're short, or we're going. We feel like we can't breathe. And I get it. I've been in situations where the energy is so heavy. Doesn't it feel like I can't breathe? There's just this heaviness of energy. And when you feel that, the first place to go is to your breath. Go to your breath. Peace. Be still. Another good one is trust and know. Peace and grace. Come up with some words that work for you. Thank you. Okay? Whatever flow works that helps you identify that energy that helps you create the pause. In the pause is self-care. Okay? In the pause is the champion. Okay? Olympic champions, anybody who excels at sports, they are very good at their focus, at their concentration, at their presence, where they bring all of their faculties. Tom Brady, when he takes the hike, puts all of his faculties into where everything is and where he is. He's very centered and he's very focused. And when an athlete is in that condition, that is their flow, that is their magic. If you see a gymnast on the bars, a skater on the ice, they're in this one big long pause of presence and concentration and peace. Because if they were all frantic and nervous and holding in their breath, they'd be all over the place.
Yeah, it's called the zone.
The zone.
You're in your zone. That is the zone, the athletic zone right there.
Yeah,
Games yesterday.
I'm sure.
Saw the zone.
That's a good example.
Unreal.
Okay? The Legend of Bagger Vance, a favorite movie of mine. It's got Will Smith playing a caddy. If you haven't seen that movie, go see that movie. The Legend of Bagger Vance. And it's about a golf tournament in the late 20s or early 30s in Savannah. And Will Smith plays a caddy. And he's trying to help, who's the actor?
Right.
Leonardo DiCaprio, I think.
Leo. No, was it Leo?
Or was it Brett?
No.
Anyway.
I don't know, I didn't see it.
Anyway, see the movie. Because the guy who he's trying to teach to find his swing again. Okay? You've lost your swing. You have to find your swing.
That's very frustrating.
Okay?
It is.
And he's not talking about there are certain technical aspects of the swing, but what was he really talking about? Getting to that place of peace and in the process and being in the pause and the flow of energy where everything is coming together and he finds his natural swing. Okay? Last night we went to see the movie I Can Only Imagine.
Oh, don't
which
tell
is-
me too much about it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm going
No,
Easter
but the
night.
story is basically about a guy
Oh,
who,
yeah, I know
who,
all
who
about it.
finally comes upon a song.
Mm.
But it's his song that
Is Bart Miller.
is within him that needs to come out.
For mercy.
It's a really great story. But the movie is about how the song comes about and his history and how that song becomes the predominant song. But it's the same thing. The song was his swing. Okay? So we all have our swing. Okay? And we might have a swing for relationships. We might have a swing for work. We might have a swing for our spiritual development. We might have a spring for our family relationships. We have a swing about who we are. Okay? And here's the thing. Anytime we feel like we're off, it's because we've lost our swing. We've lost our connection. Did our swing go anywhere? No.
It's all here.
The swing is still there. It's still on the inside. Who we are is still on the inside. What happened was we couldn't allow ourselves to do this, okay, because of our ego or judgment or whatever's going on, okay, and that makes us feel disconnected from the source, okay? But when we connect with ourselves and with our inner source, things just happen to line up again. That's what creates personal empowerment. Personal empowerment comes from alignment. And it comes from the alignment of who we are within us. That my thoughts, and we've talked about this before, but my thoughts, my feelings, my words, and my actions start to resemble a line. They're in alignment with my values.
What's that, W for?
Words. And so when I'm out of alignment with my values, I'm all over the place. I'm not experiencing success in relationships. I'm not experiencing success in work. I'm not sleeping well at night. My health symptoms start to display an out of alignment. Okay? And it's just the natural state of things. That's what causes stress. What causes stress is when I'm not consistent and authentic with my values and who I am, right? If I'm thinking one thing and saying another, I'm inconsistent. That automatically puts me into stress mode. It makes me angry, anxious, frustrated, resentful, which sometimes I push outward onto other people, but which is really self-anger at myself, like, why can't I say what I think? Why can't I act in alignment with my feelings? Why don't I? I want to, for whatever reason I'm not, but my soul is looking for me to do that, and I'm not doing it, so I feel disconnected. And that's where dis-ease comes in. I'm at dis-ease within myself. And when we are at dis-ease within ourselves for a period of time, for example, me suppressing anger, right, down inside and never speaking my truth to somebody or being honest with myself, and I push that down, where does it have to go? It's got to go somewhere. So it starts to show up as ulcers, stress, okay, other conditions, other ailments, or it complicates another ailment, okay, because I'm in this state of dis-ease when I'm inconsistent. Arch.
Okay, I'm going to touch back on what you're talking about, the athletes. Okay, the athletes that excel tremendously is because they completely believe in their ability and their ability to overcome whatever is thrown at them, and they can actually continue to perform at that level because they have complete and total belief in their skill, okay? The thing here is very simple as to that. It has to do with your inner confidence. The only way that you can achieve this is to have your personal inner confidence. And you have to be able, like you were saying about, I think one thing and I say another. Well, that's because you don't have personal confidence about it. And that's something that I've lived with for a long time in my life. You didn't believe in that person that's inside of you to be able to do this. You have self-doubts. In life, with stuff to overcome this, you cannot have those self-doubts. And you can't sit there and go like, well, what if? You see it, you do it, and you achieve it.
Right.
And that's it. And,
Yep.
basically, that'll make you a better person. So,
Right.
I'm learning.
And so, absolutely. And we're always a growth in process. Look, we're supposed to be this way. Because this is how we learn, y'all. Okay? And it is a matter of being aware or unaware. Okay? Or conscious or unconscious. Okay? The way to expand our gift and our ability to do this is just like Arch said. Identifying it, becoming aware of it, and then practicing discipline in our thoughts. So when the old thought comes that says, you're not supposed to be here, we're trained now to go, I just heard myself think that I'm not supposed to be here. Is that true anymore for me? No. Instead, I choose to believe that I'm supposed to be right where I am now, learning something, and that I can choose where I want to be next. And so I can take responsibility for it. Oh, well, I just shifted myself then from a state of not honoring where I am to a space of, I'm okay, but I'm going to make some choices today that are going to move me in another direction. Okay? And that takes practice. That takes paying attention. And some things will come easier than others. But whatever challenge you have right now is your greatest teacher. Pick that person in your life or that situation in your life that is causing the most angst. If only. Why haven't? Why hasn't? Whatever subject came to your mind in that moment that I just mentioned, that right there is your greatest teacher. Because there is gold in that situation. For you. There may be some for the other person. But there's gold there for you if you can start to see it. This has magical, transformative power to look at a challenge, especially if that challenge is a person, a child, a spouse or partner, a friend, a boss, a coworker, that is presenting to you emotional, financial, boundaries, communication, whatever's going on in that dynamic, that person is a gift. That situation is a gift. That client is a gift. And if they are a gift, how would they be a gift for you? For you. What new behaviors would you need to develop or grow that would benefit you, not only that in that situation, but going forward? Okay? Because it's there for you. That person or that situation is not about them. It is solely about you and how you're perceiving it, how you're showing up to it, and whether you're available or unavailable for whatever is going on. Because if I'm closed and shut down, it's all about them. If I'm open and available, wow, this is not happening to me. This is happening for me. And if this situation is happening for me, how could that possibly be? How could there be a gift in this pile of stuff? Because what is a pile of stuff used for? Fertilizer. What does fertilizer do? Help things grow? Okay.
The right things.
The right things grow. Okay. So even that stuff has value. Does it not?
Sure.
Okay. So if I can look at that stuff as there's value there. Even if I don't know what the value is yet, I am open to looking at that stuff as value. I am open and willing to consider value instead of no value. Okay? And I'm just going to be open for insight into that and see what happens. I don't have anything to lose unless I'm really attached to this energy that I absolutely have to have, because that validates my victimhood. It validates the story I've been telling myself and other people for a few decades now about why I can't do this, or why this is going this way or that way. And oh, by the way, it is who I am now, and I don't have to change, and the other person should change. Whatever story we have going on to describe all of that, start to cut that. Start to cut attachment to that. Because that's what's keeping you here. That's what's keeping you unavailable to be here. That's what's keeping you dishonoring where you are. And there's no value there. There's no magic. Okay? Except for things are still going on.
Yeah.
Okay? You're still showing up a certain way, and somebody else or the other situation is showing up, and you're like the tree in the winter. There's stuff going on. Is it stuff that you want to go on? How much longer do you want it to go on? Are you willing to take responsibility for it and relieve the other person of any responsibility?
What you're doing when you say all those things, you're just making excuses, trying to make excuses of why you cannot overcome all this. You're making excuses. It's like when what people do, they blame others for their shortcomings or things that go bad to them. Well, you know, this, that, and the other. But the thing about it is, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. You're making excuses because you're letting your ego, your bad side of your ego, the one that says you're not worth anything, or you're not confident at all in what you're doing, to overcome your persona. But basically in the back of your mind, you're going to know that they're wrong.
Absolutely.
But you won't. You don't have the courage, and that's what it is. The courage to say, hey, knock it off. I'm not like this.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the term courage, because it does take courage to call BS on yourself. Okay? Because in the absence of being brutally honest with yourself and calling BS on yourself and saying, why do I keep blaming this person or this situation for my demise, when, wait a minute, if I'm really brutally honest, it's my own darn fault. I'm creating the situation. I could have let go of this a long time ago. Okay? So the ability to be brutally honest and call BS on yourself is a master key to changing your awareness and your empowerment. Because then you are able to take complete responsibility for what's going on. And we don't have to wait anymore. And here's the thing too, is it doesn't matter where we are in our life situation, where we're living, what age we are, what status of the career we're in. is wherever we are right now is right wherever we're supposed to be. And if I've been carrying a grudge or situation for 10 years, things have been happening in that 10 years for me. Okay, it's not like I think I've been stuck. Things have just slowed really way down. Okay, but it's never too late to go, it's time. It's never too late to go, I'm going to take responsibility for this relationship now and shift my energy. The other person does not have to do anything. I set them free. They don't have to forgive me. They don't have to give me anything. They don't have to give me permission. They don't have to give me any power. In fact, they don't have any power. I have my own power, and it's time to take it back, soak it up through my roots, get it back up inside, and that way I can bloom again. I can move again. I can shed again and make space again for something new. What kind of situations are floating around out there with you all that you might want to talk about that we can apply some of these principles and some of those R's? I love those R's that you guys mentioned.
Well, I find that from myself, I don't wait for a situation to come about. I know if I don't stay in, for me, peace be still, which is exercise and church. If I don't have those two, I lose my way. So it's my own fault if I didn't go to church the last 2 weeks or whatever. And so then I start saying, okay, I start losing my way, or the weather's been crummy. So, an excuse, why didn't I go to the gym? Well, the weather was crummy, I'd rather be outside. So for me, I don't wait for situations to come about. I try to maintain my peace be still so that when they do come about, I manage them much better.
Excellent.
That's kind of how, and I don't hold grudges or I don't have any of those issues, but it really helps me to maintain that peace for myself, to pause.
Okay.
So, because you're going to get hit with things left and right, work, personal. So I'd rather be at peace and manage them a lot better than be
Yes.
frenzied when they hit me.
Yes. Excellent point.
Okay.
Excellent point.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the value. That as we put in place, and this is the discipline that I talked about, as this is all about self-care. Okay? We have to learn to take care of ourselves. And that's one of the biggest challenges that we have as we grow up. Okay? Not many of us grow up exposed to people who are available for teaching us how to take care of ourselves emotionally. Okay? So we can enter adulthood and be very of age to do a lot of different things, but we can be 10 years old emotionally. Okay? And that's not putting blame on anybody, that's just the human experience. Okay? We're all human. Our parents are human, our friends are human, our teachers in school are on human note. It's not like anybody can give us that. It's something that only that we can acquire ourselves as we develop our own wisdom and our own insight. Okay? But the more I start to pay attention and say, when I do this, I feel better. When I do this, I'm more available for this. Okay? Then, when the storm comes, not if.
Right. When?
Because, wait a minute, and let's talk about storms for a second. What do storms do naturally?
Cause destruction.
Cause destruction.
Disrupt. Yeah. They bring change.
Change.
Exactly.
They hinder.
They can hinder. What else can they do though?
Cleanse.
Clean. Right? Good storm comes along, blows off all the dead branches.
All the pollen.
Okay?
Oh, yeah, pollen.
Get
The pollen's
There
just,
you go.
it's just starting.
I know, it's like any storm, get rid of it.
You know?
Storms can unite.
What?
They can unite.
Storms can bring
Absolutely.
together things.
Most of the people.
A forest fire can be therapeutic for a forest.
Yes.
Especially a forest where there's dead growth, right? Nothing's really going. A lightning strike hits. A fire happens, burns everything out. But wait a minute, don't pine cones pop open
Nature rebuilds.
in a fire in extreme heat? What happens when that happens? Seeds get released. Okay? So, even Chernobyl in Russia, where they had the nuclear disaster, life is coming back even under those conditions.
Yeah.
But if our vision says, storm, bad, stay away, stop the storm, go away storm, you're causing me to become a storm, we get a completely different result. But if we go, I'm the eye of the storm, no matter what's going on. In fact, thank you, God, for the storm. So the real magic when you've got that situation or that very emotional situation that's draining you right now, when you can go, thank you, God, for whatever is happening with this person. I am open to learning about myself. I am open to learning about them. I am open to learning about love. I am open to learning about movement. Help me see movement and healing where I have yet to see it. And when you start to open yourself up, see the storm has made your pine cone open up, okay, to create your blooming and your openness now to new possibility. That's why you can either look at things going on like a problem and call it a problem, call it a curse, call it a pile of, okay, or you can go, I've got this situation. This is a divine situation. There is opportunity here, and even if I don't see it right now, I am open to seeing it now. In fact, dreams, visions, inspiration, conversations, emails, websites, TV shows, music. I'm surrounded by angels that I am now open to get different insights from. And I release and let go of any attachment to this situation having to unfold in any particular way. Because I intend to honor myself. I bless the person who's challenging me instead of cursing them. Okay? And when we do that, we change. Change is what storms bring. Storms bring currents, they bring water, they bring wind, they clear things out, they move things around. The earth was created by volcanoes. What the heck do volcanoes do? Crazy energy in a volcano. Alright? But because of volcanoes, we're here right now. And hurricanes, and tornadoes, and wind and rain and sun. Extreme heat, extreme cold. All of it happens for a reason. But if we judge something like that and say, and curse it, we limit ourselves in our capacity to respond to it. Instead, we're just reacting to it, and only limited growth takes place then.
The thing that storms bring, that's the biggest thing. An atmospheric storm is a way that the earth releases its energy. It's releasing energy by having storm. There's so much pent up energy in the atmosphere that is the way nature relieves storms. Also, what happens after the storm passes? It's extremely calm for 3, maybe 4 days. Why? Because you've taken all the energy out of it. And when we're going through our storms, it's the same way. Once we get to the point where we've accomplished or overcome that, we have peace for a while until the next one comes in. And that's something that it's really hard to deal with. And another thing I'll touch on is, remember you were talking about your early experiences. Well, where do you learn your behavior from? Your parents. And, you know, it just, it's unreal because we're all like our parents, just knowing about it. So
Yep, no matter how much we didn't wanna be. I'm just-
we are going to be like
I've got
that
great
because we
parents,
don't,
by the way.
we don't know any better because, you know, I'm 5 years old and mommy's my world and daddy's my world, so. I
Well,
love
and
it
that's
that
the
way.
thing, is, when we go through trauma in our life, especially as a child, that trauma can cause us to stay, you know, an 8-year-old who experiences the divorce of his family, in some ways stays 8 years old emotionally if they haven't processed the divorce, haven't processed who they are as a person and what they mean to their parents. You know, I can carry my 8-year-old self into an adult relationship and see my relationship through part of the lens of my 8-year-old self who went through a divorce. And I can play out my behaviors and my thoughts and my perspective and my words and how I show up in a relationship based on the 8-year-old part of myself that was wounded, hurt, damaged, and that gets me a result in the relationship. But until I heal that, until I can heal that and replace those thoughts and emotions with a different perspective, until I can take it from feeling like a pile of stuff to say, oh, my parents, even though they divorced, they gave me a gift by teaching me the value of respect, love, affection, communication. Even though those things were absent, the gift is they taught me the value of having those things because I saw what it was like not for those things not to be present. And so you develop a gift, and then you're healing. And then I can show up as a 30-year-old in the relationship with a new perspective instead of a 8 or 10-year-old who is bringing in that perspective. Okay? Who else has got a situation going on?
Who doesn't have a situation?
It's true.
How can we shed some
I
light?
struggle more with things than people.
Okay?
Like I don't have, when you said, think of, ooh, it wasn't a person that came in my head and everybody's gonna look at me like I'm nuts, but it's my QuickBooks. I cannot make myself sit down and reconcile my profit and loss so I can get my taxes done. I know what the reward is when I'm done. I might get money back. Who knows? Or I might owe, but at least it'll be done. But I can't grab hold of it and do it without stressing myself out to no end about it.
That's
Okay.
what us CPAs and QuickBooks.
What's the word
Here,
that,
can I just give you money?
what's the word that you're saying that you keep saying
Can't.
over and
Can't.
over and
Can't.
over?
Don't
Right
want
there,
to.
that's your
Can't.
barrier right there. Can't. I can't. You can.
I know.
This is a
Well,
good,
isn't it something, because I have other issues in different areas, but it's almost like a procrastination, because I
It
cannot
is.
stand to go through all the detail in my house
Yeah.
that I gotta get
Well,
done. I
yeah.
just can't
And
stand
that's-
it.
That's what it
But
is.
it's gotta
when
be done eventually.
I scripted about it before you
How
sat
did you
down near
script
me
about
at
it?
dinner. I said, I accept opportunities and I challenge myself. I'm not anxious over unfinished tasks. I cut myself slack and I'm not negative in my head. I
okay,
treat myself as a priority.
excellent.
I
So
like that.
I know what I need to do, but I can't, like, because as soon as that's done, there's going to be something else like, oh yeah, remember you wanted to refinance your house. Oh, that means you got to put all that paperwork together. Oh no, I don't want to do it. So, and it's constant. Obviously, in my line of work, I have lots of things like that pop up,
Yes.
and I need to like get past it.
Excellent, excellent example.
Success can have its pearls, can't it?
I guess so.
So here's the opportunity. Read what you scripted again.
I accept opportunities and I challenge myself. I am not anxious over unfinished tasks.
Stop. I challenge myself. What does that sound like?
Means, to me, it meant like, this is something I know how to do. It's not hard.
Self-awareness.
Just
Okay, but are you saying you challenge yourself as a negative thing or you challenge yourself as a positive?
no, it's a positive thing.
Okay, All right, what would be another word to use instead of I challenge myself?
I give myself permission to do these things.
I will do.
I love to grow.
Yeah. Okay.
Read the first part of the sentence again.
I accept opportunities.
I accept opportunities and I love to grow my skills. Okay, now what was the second sentence you wrote?
I am not anxious over unfinished tasks.
Stop. What does that sentence focus on?
Anxious.
Anxiety. Why?
Anxiety.
Because that's how I feel
It's like
when
she's
things
trying,
are not done.
like
Right.
she's trying to convince
And you
herself.
wrote, read it again.
I'm not, so I should be
I
saying.
am not anxious when, right? Read it again.
Over unfinished tasks.
I am not anxious over unfinished tasks. What would be a more affirmative, positive way to say that?
Unfinished tasks are fun for me to do. But something with a spin like that.
Okay,
for sure.
okay, yeah, okay, so,
I'm in control of these
It's
unfinished
completed.
tasks.
go ahead,
The tasks
Wesley.
are complete.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I love it when I complete my tasks. I am at peace in the process with all of my tasks.
Now you
Right?
get
Instead of,
carried away.
instead of saying I'm not anxious, which is focused on what you don't want.
Yeah.
Remember, we want to, in our thoughts and in our words and in our scripting, we only want to affirm what we want. Okay? So when I write, I am not anxious when, I'm affirming what I don't want, the anxiety. So I go, how can I say this and how can I say this in a more affirmative, positive way? I approach every task with peace, clarity, and confidence.
There's
I
only-
see the value in what I'm doing. I love QuickBooks. Follow me. Follow me here,
Because of my
because
profession.
you just said you love the result, right? So, if QuickBooks is standing in my way of getting the result that I love, what energy do I want to shift around QuickBooks in order to experience the result? Love for QuickBooks. Or she recommended another thing.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I love it when I find other people to help me
Yeah, I've already.
manage my
This
time.
is my other person. My accountant is like, okay, finish what you have to do so I can do my
Okay,
job.
so this is where you say, I love completing it. I love the way it feels when I receive my check. I am receiving that check right now, and I approach completing my tasks through QuickBooks with the same vibration as if I have the money already. In fact, every time I open up QuickBooks, I think of myself receiving money. It puts me in the flow of receiving money. I'm effective with QuickBooks. I learn it. I'm open to learning more about it so I can do it more efficiently and effectively, shortcuts, whatever, the technical things you need to learn about QuickBooks. I can't wait to go take a class that will help me do it faster or more efficiently. Okay? I love QuickBooks because it creates money for me.
How about this? There's 3 seconds. There's 3 seconds left in the game. You have the ball. You're taking 2 dribbles. You need a 3. You got to throw that 3 up. You're going to say, "I'm going to put it up, and it's going to go in." That's how you have to. You're going to overcome the obstacle. You're going to go up there. You're going to throw the ball. You're going to shoot the ball. It's going to go through. And guess what's happening? You overcame everything. And you got 20,000 people that love the heck out of you.
Along
Can't
that
pass it
line
to
of
Steph
thought,
Curry.
Oh no,
Here's
no,
Steph,
you're going to do it because the ball's in. You have the ball. Everybody else is out.
along that line of thought is a great book by Mel Robbins called The 5-Second Rule. Okay? And the basic essence of the 5-second rule is, she said that she was having the same problem with procrastinating on things that she wanted to do. And she was tired of the result that she was getting from feeling frustrated with procrastination. She said she was getting ready one morning for work, and there was a thing on the TV, on the news, about a rocket that was getting ready to take off, or a space shuttle or something. And so they did the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is the 5-second rule. And now she probably makes 20 grand a speech to talk about the book that she wrote on the 5-second rule, which is basically, the gist of it is whatever you're procrastinating or putting yourself off, do the countdown. And that puts you in a mental frame of mind like QuickBooks. Okay, I want to get it done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm at my desk. Oh, there's a tough conversation I want to have. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I need to get up and go to the gym. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
5, 4, 3.
So, check out the book. I think you would
Who was
enjoy
the
it.
author again?
But I thought it was a really
Mel
good
Robbins.
technique. Mel Robbins. I thought it was a really good technique. And there's, you know, you can Google overcoming procrastination and probably come up with hundreds of books written about the subject. That's just one. But the key is to switch your language around. What now? Give me another sentence, because you
I
wrote
probably
something
have a
else.
whole 10 books full of things that I need to rewrite. No wonder things don't work out.
See, I'm glad you're doing this, but this is
I
the
know,
whole
I am
thing.
too. Okay, this is probably not a good one either. I cut myself slack and am not negative in my head.
Okay, I cut myself slack,
I'm a
and,
good example of what not to write.
and I'm not negative in my head. Now, I get the gist. I know where you're trying to go with that, and we all do. But, again, with those words, and remember, words have power. My focus is still on what I don't want. So knowing what you know now, how would you rewrite that sentence to express the same thought, only more positively and affirmative?
I have positive thoughts whenever I am in my head. I guess what I'm trying to think about is like the voices in my head when they're saying, you know you don't want to do that, just go do something else. So I want to just switch around my thinking.
Okay.
And I don't know if I have the words to.
So I cut myself slack.
Yeah.
Here's some words that I would use.
Mhm.
I love myself. All right, now what's the rest of the sentence?
I should have it memorized by now. I'm not negative in my head.
I love myself. And I express positivity with every thought.
There, that's what I was trying to say.
Okay? I mean, flesh it out, but see the direction? See how we changed? Didn't one sentence have a certain energy and vibration, and the other sentence has the other?
Mhm.
I cut myself slack is like, I need to cut myself some slack.
Mhm.
All right? The other is I love myself. And I am filled with positive, affirmative thoughts.
But
You
this,
know, you know, I was gonna say, 'cause, you know, I'm a player, I coach, and one of the things that make me move on to everything that's been going on with myself is that it's one thing I always tell the kids that I coach is that the last play is always over, and what makes pro athletes so great is not that the skill, it's that they don't remember the last play. If you
Because
miss-
where are they, David?
They already, they're in the present and they're seeing already, because they already believe in their abilities. But
point.
if you stay in the back, if I could've did this, I could've stayed in,
Right.
I could've did this. Instead of just saying, or that play is gone. I can't change that play.
you can't dwell on things.
Right.
You
Like
cannot.
quick book.
Woulda,
You
coulda,
can't
You know the
dwell.
results for your quick
Yeah,
book.
I've been-
woulda,
I've
coulda,
been doing
shoulda.
that for
What's
the
that?
last- For the last many
And-
months, I've been dwelling on
So
what
Woulda,
happened.
coulda,
for you, it's not to, it's to remember,
Hey, y'all, let's listen to what
you
David's saying.
can- the positive that you get
It's just unreal.
from the results of it. You know, like I said, I have like I said, I coach. I had a girl who was. I had a girl who was our best player who was struggling, and she was aiming at the basket. And anytime she comes to the bench, I'm like, play them. What you gonna do now?
Excellent.
What you gonna do right now? And this is what I did for myself. I said, you know, here I'm preaching this to everybody else, and I'm not doing it for myself. But the little twist of that changed a lot of things for myself. Is to get away all the what ifs, or who said I can't miss it. It's there, it will always be there. But I must stay where I'm at to the present.
And in that present moment, thank you, David. In the present moment is where our creative power is. We have no creative power over anything from the past. The only thing we can do for the future is create conditions for something to appear in the future. But the only place where we can create conditions is in the present moment.
Yeah.
Okay? So I love that. The play is already, what was it? The last play is already over. Okay? It's done with.
This is what
Yesterday
Michael
is
Jordan
done.
said. He missed 15 shots. And then the last shot, he still took it. And he said, if I would have made it, I made it, but I was the champ when I made it. But if I would have missed it, that's what I did.
Babe Ruth struck out how many times compared to how many home runs he got?
Exactly.
Okay?
And never
But had
remember
he
to strike
focused
out.
on the strikeouts, he would have quit a long time ago. We wouldn't even be talking about Babe Ruth. There'd be no candy bar named after Babe Ruth.
Right.
I believe it goes
Okay.
back to like Benjamin Franklin, how many
Alright.
times he failed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Their memories are short.
They are short.
Those guys, they don't think of, they keep going.
And we don't cut ourselves slack. Okay? Because another way to say that is I give myself full credit for my successes. Okay? I am successful at thinking positive thoughts. As many positive thoughts as I want to. I am open and willing to pay attention to my thoughts even more, so that I spend more time in positive thoughts. Okay? Now I could have wrote that in a completely low energy way, focused on what I don't want. Okay? But I pay really strict attention when I'm scripting to the words that I'm using. And my constant thing is am I focused on what I don't want or what I don't want or what I want? Now, there's a way you can write. You can say, I release, okay, fill in the blank. I release any attachment to my previous thoughts about QuickBooks. And right now, in this present moment, I choose to see QuickBooks as gold for me. Because of how I feel when I get paid. Okay? And I'm divinely led to somebody who loves QuickBooks even more than I
And he
do. So
marries
that I
me.
can share
He
my
can do it
abundance
all.
with them and reward them for creating more time for me to do something else.
I think for an owner, the gift of QuickBooks is the bottom line P&L.
Yeah.
Seeing that, I mean,
Yeah,
when it's
that's
done,
that's my
complete,
goal.
reconciled, boom, that's what
That's where I'm
owner
going.
looks for.
That's what I'm going for.
Right,
Right.
they're very pretty.
Yeah.
Hey,
They could be.
I've got a shoebox on the top of my closet that still has all my receipts in it
I
from
miss those
2018
days.
for 2017. So I've got work to do. I know it. I know.
Me too.
And I'm gonna have to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's get it done. Okay. So we all have those moments. So it's okay. It's okay for you to go instead of going, oh, I should have written something differently, to laugh at yourself and say, haha, look what I wrote. What a magical moment now for me. The next time I script, to expand my attention on the words that I'm using, to expand my skills in selecting more powerful, positive words to replace what I wrote. Because whatever you've written is already over. okay? And there was growth there, and there was some movement there, and there was learning there. That's why we never want to script something and go back and hate on it, because it was who we were, what was showing up in the present moment, and how we chose to express ourselves, and it's okay. The magic is that there's a play going on right now, and are you showing up available for the play in the present moment? Okay? Because if you're thinking about your strikeout 3 innings ago, okay, you're not available to swing away and hit the ball as the ball's coming to you from the pitcher. Okay? So this is an opportunity for you to have a breakthrough in your scripting. Say, I will never write that way again because it doesn't vibrate as high as I want it to vibrate.
That's
Okay?
why you still eating quick.
This could be your massive move.
Massive.
You were writing, I'm gonna do it, but I ain't gonna do it.
I'm gonna cut myself some slack when it comes to that.
Massive movement. Okay? And again, these are, see, all you're doing is repairing, refitting. Okay? When we're looking at, when we were talking about the our challenges and what we were dealing with, when we look at them, we're repairing, we're refueling, we're rearming, we're rejuvenating, we're reinforcing, we're taking a rest. Whew. I need to rest, man. This relationship's kicking my butt. And it has been for a long time, but oh, wait a minute. It's kicking my butt because of how I'm showing up. And if I show up in a different way, I can get some rest, I can reset, I can rejuvenate, and I can create massive movement and even get a breakthrough that will bring me peace. Create conditions for peace on the inside. And if there's people out there in a storm, I can let them be in their own storm. Yep. You know, stuff on TV, politics, whatever's going on. Yep. Isn't it interesting how stormy things look out there? You know what? I let God be God, and that's on God's table to fix. Okay. And in fact, nothing's broken, nothing's changed. You know, this is only 2018. The same stuff was going on in 4000 BC. Okay, so there's no need for me to get all stressed out about it. But I've got my peace going on right here. And I can see what's there for me to learn by watching all of this. How do I think about these topics? How do I think about myself? How do I see government? How do I see my relationships with other people? What are my values? And that's the whole opportunity for us to define all of that and play with it and see what happens. So remember scripting, because we were talking about scripting, is writing as if you already have what you want. And so I encourage you, if you haven't already, get yourself a journal that has meaning for you, that looks pretty or handsome or nice or feels good. And get a favorite pen and start to express yourself in words in writing. Because scripting is a creative exercise, and it helps do this. The biggest gift that I found from scripting, that I learned from Joyce Reynolds, is by taking my thoughts and writing them down on paper and getting a vision for what I want and how I want to show up, how I want to show up relevant to what I want, helped create within me a bigger sense of alignment that started to become consistent with my values. I started to get clear on my values. I started to understand the importance of values. And I started to bring things more in alignment. Now, are they in perfect alignment? Nope. Will they ever be in perfect alignment? Nope. Am I attached to them being perfectly aligned? Nope. I am open to expanding and growing and improving my alignment without any expectation other than growth and learning. And so when I'm scripting, I write a dedication on the first page. I dedicate it. I sign my name and date it, and then I start to script. And remember, what I'm scripting about fall in 5 general areas: relationships, money, career, health, and personal or spiritual development. I can also write a script about other people or other situations, okay, or activities that I'm involved in. But what I'm doing when I'm scripting, like Christine was reading, is I'm describing what I want as if I already have it. So it's written in the present moment, with the present moment in mind. Or as if it's already happened. Thank you, God, that I have completed my QuickBook assignment. Everything is in proper order. Everything is lined up. I feel so good already handing it off to the CPA who's going to take it and present me with a check. This is already done. And it is already done spiritually. We just have to do it physically. Okay? That's another thing, is we create spiritually in our minds first. By scripting and write it down, we now create it physically on paper, on a physical paper. We've expressed it creatively with our own alignment in our own self. And then, after we've scripted it, I'm going to speak it and read it back out loud with passion, with alignment, with energy and emotion, as if it is true. And then I release it. Okay? This helps you get clear on what you want, just like we did this little exercise. Do you have more clarity now on what you want?
Yes.
Absolutely. And we only took 3 or 4 sentences. Okay? But we shifted the perspective and vision from one vibration to a much more clear, positive picture. That now you can look in the mirror and say, I love QuickBooks. And I love attending to things that require my attention in divine time and order. And I'm at peace with this now. I'm ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? In fact, thank you, God, for QuickBooks and a tool, because in the absence of QuickBooks, what would I have to do? Put it down in a book, right? Put the big book, the Mr. Scrooge book, you know, the big book like that, the ledger with all the stuff in it. Okay? Or go back to the typewriter days.
Carbon copies.
There you go. And so, scripting is a blessing, and it's a powerful tool. And I really encourage everybody to do it. Are there any questions about scripting or the scripting process in the time that we have left?
So the 5 were relationship, money, career, spiritual growth, and personal growth? Did I miss something?
Yeah, personal
Health.
and spiritual are the same.
Oh, so I'm
Yeah,
missing on
health.
that.
So
Oh,
it's
health.
relationships, health, money, career, personal or spiritual development. You can add 6 or 7, huh?
Gratitude.
Yes, and thank you for bringing gratitude, because in the absence of knowing what to script for, you can script gratitude. I am grateful for. Thank you, God, for. I appreciate. Okay? And whatever you write in that mode will shift your inner energy, wherever it is, to a higher place. It will not fail. If you feel depressed or sad, script and speak gratitude. If you're angry, frustrated, resentful, speak and write gratitude. It is guaranteed, it's the law, universal law, that your emotional energy will change and shift anytime you go to gratitude.
Whenever you see a puppy.
Huh?
It changes.
Yes, whenever you see a puppy, it's going to change. Or a kitty if you're into cats, whatever works for you. But the magic is still the same. Does anybody have any questions about what I've talked about tonight? Okay, well, I appreciate everybody coming. I appreciate your energy and your insight and your stories, because they add value to the class. And I see each and every one of you as a powerful creator. You are not creating any power. You already have it. You're developing it every day. You have the opportunity for you to develop and grow your power. You're not acquiring anymore. So go out and be as powerful as you already are in everything you do. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and please remember the donation. Thank you.